URT, URT, who are we? URT. Big up, people. Can you hear me? People, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me all right? Big up to the people. Hey, big up, big up, big up, people. Welcome to the URT. This is the URT. We are the URT. Live and direct to the URT. Big up, people. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Big up to everybody. Scholes is behind there, up to no good. But yeah, we got 5 on it. Messing with that ain't no weed. We got 5 on it. Listen, big up, man. Listen, we've got our own things, man. We've got our own things to concentrate, but big up to Jamie Wayne. Big up to Jamie Wayne. Listen, we got a bit of a show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about actually Ipswich. Are we underrating Ipswich? The type of season they've had, they're way down in the table. Are they a team that we can take lightly? I don't think we can. I don't think we did that much of a preview, me and Saeed, the other day. So I thought, you know what, let's talk about it. The question is, people, will Ipswich dance on our parade tomorrow? Will they dance and rain on our parade tomorrow, people? Because I don't know if you know anything about anything, but Manchester's a washout today. Total washout. Bro, guess who never lost 5 in a row? Fergie. Big up. Big up to Sheikh Karian and big up to Khalees Romadin Lassie. Manchester United keeping an eye on PSG wingback Nuno Mendes, Simon Jones. Manchester United are keeping an eye on everybody, the way their things are going, Sheikh Karian and Khalees. Manchester City are the first reigning top-flight champions to lose 5 games in a row in all competitions since Chelsea March 1956. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Would love him at United. I've been saying it for time. There is, there's about 40 million players that I would love at Manchester United, but it's not. I heard there's a new ball fraud in Manny. Yo, you're talking about a guy who's won 4 in a row, man. I'm not going to jump on the... Manchester City can go and win 5 in a row, man. They can go and win 5 in a row. The league is that shit, man. I'm telling you now. They can go and easily go and win 5 in a row. They can go like 20 games unbeaten. I watched a bit of the game, and actually, they were on top for the first 10 minutes. Let's be right. I mean, boy, oh boy, Haaland, boy, oh boy, oh boy, look like Timberland boots today. Haaland look like Lukaku today, mate. Missing sitters right, left, and centre. But it is what it is, people. It is what it is. We might not get anybody joining us tonight, people. We might not get anybody joining us. I just thought, hey, I like to go live with the community. Get Hakimi, somebody said. Hakimi is a fantastic player. I do like Hakimi. Pep Guardiola has lost 5 consecutive games for the first time in his career. Yo, but he's broken more records than anybody else, to be fair. Ruben Amorim on Rashford training well. He can play 3 positions in the front, so it's a good thing. He will be ready for Sunday. Haaland looked like League 2 player. Boy, oh boy. But it is what it is. Nuno Mendes is good. Very good, of course. Ruben Amorim, the relationship with the academy, they are learning about football idea, but the way they feel that my training with the first team. But they have to feel, yeah, agreed. The important for them to grow, understand what they need to be there, will do that often. Yeah. So that's good. They'll be training with us. Senior Manchester United figures, eh? Senior. Manchester United figures are having serious doubts. Oh my God. About Joshua Zirkzee after a poor return since. Oh, behave yourself. Man United men. Oh, piss off. Shaqarian, don't bring me stuff like that, bro. Tell them to effing do one. On Ipswich, the league's amazing. You can win everywhere and you can lose everywhere. We're going to have to be a tough game, but we have an idea how to play. Yeah, 100%. That look like they're starting for sure. I truly believe we're going to win. Yeah, he believes. I believe. He says, I'm a believer. He's a believer. Big up to Ruben Amorim. He's basically talking like, I'm a believer. Is that a Beatles song? I'm a believer. Or is that from the 1960s? I'm a believer. Oh, that might be the Stones. See the Stones? See the Stones? Music heads, let me know. Where's Nick Nash when I need him? Ruben Amorim, very smart, very intelligent. I will try to manipulate a little. It will be fun. Oh, Ruben Amorim, I think he's very smart. You can understand all the tactical changes he used, especially against Tottenham. You can understand that idea. Damn. Ruben Amorim, Bruno's returning early from duty. Very good. Yellow card in the national team. Very useful. Yep. Look like Bruno and Rashford will be starting tomorrow. But like I said, if they play well for Manchester United under this new manager, I don't give a shit. As long as they're playing well. Ruben, I'm a little bit anxious just for me, my players, because we've changed some things and I want to feel comfortable on Sunday. I want my players to be happy during the game. So I am a little bit anxious, but very excited. Excited. We're excited. Big up, Lesso. Lesso, talk to me, bro. How are we? Lesso, how are we, bro? Is it cold still in Joburg?
Yeah, it's scorching hot, man. Yeah, it's terrible. You can't even leave the windows
I can't
open
hear you, bro. Can you hear him?
You can't hear me.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. Can the chat hear me?
Can people hear him? Khalees, can you hear Lesso? Lesso, speak. Speak. Say something.
Can people hear me?
Hear him? Say something, Lesso.
Yeah, it's scorching hot. It's scorching hot at the moment. Can't even leave the windows open because mosquitoes.
Oh, I can't hear him. That's weird. That's a bit strange. I don't
know why
everyone
I
can
hear
him. But that bit is a bit strange, man.
Oh my goodness.
That bit is a bit strange, man. Listen, you say something, bro. Tell me how you are. Is it cold? I'll try to sort it out. You tell me how you are, bro.
Not
People
a problem.
said they
not
can
a
hear
problem.
You.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much hot over here, man. You know, it's been sunny. You know, I think it's the summertime now. It's officially like
spring
coming. Now summer. We're in the summer period. So yeah, it's scorching hot. It really gets hot over here, you know, especially in summertime. You can't even leave the windows open because you've got mosquitoes flying around. So yeah, you know, so it's a double-edged sword for us. But yeah, we survive, man. We adapt and yeah, we keep it moving.
Yeah. Big up, bro. So talk to me. You saw the interviews. You saw everything. Give me your first reaction. What you thought about Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a realistic guy. You know, he's not a person who's I think he's not gonna change he's not the type who's gonna tell us that you know, change his tune the way Tenach did. You know, I think he actually believes what he says. It's not even to like pump up people or, you know, or just get everyone giddy. I think he believes in his own abilities, which is very important. You know, if you show any weaknesses, players will turn on you, or you will take it lightly. Whatever you're doing, they'll take it lightly. So you need that kind of aura where you believe in yourself, and you actually instill that belief within the players as well. You know, and so that for me, it's a good characteristic to have as a manager or overall. And we needed someone like that for this kind of a job, because it's a messy one. He's gonna face challenges like he's never faced before. So I like someone who wants to take on the challenges head on without any fear, but at the same time, he's willing to use all the help he can get to get where he needs to get. He doesn't believe in being operating in isolation form, which is actually a good trait to have. Managers who were previously, I'd say, who were previously here before him, I think they pretty much worked in isolation. They probably did their own thing towards the end. I mean, LVG, I remember Ryan Giggs came out and said, there's a couple of players he actually suggested for him to sign, and he just looked the other way, and he didn't have that kind of trust even in Giggs in terms of scouting players and getting him players. He decided to go with his own signing. So you need someone who's going to be able to listen to, like, and use the departments around him to strengthen himself. And he understands that he only has a short time to do this as well. He's not complaining. Yeah, he knows what he's walking into first and foremost. So there's no surprises here. And what I also like is the fact that Barada was actually straight up forward with him. He told him that if he does not do certain things, here, he's gone. And that's the precedence that you need to set for anyone who comes here. Managers shouldn't be coming to our football club and telling us what expectations we should have. The club in itself needs to already establish what the standards are, what the expectations are, so that he knows exactly what he needs to do when he gets here. The reason why we failed over the all these years is because managers came in here and they're the ones who came in and did everything. Basically, they were allowed to do everything that they wanted to do. They were allowed to set standards. They were allowed to set expectations. They were allowed to tell us that things are a process and that it takes 4 years to implement a style of play. I mean, you don't get that chance. You don't even do that. They don't even do that at smaller clubs. So at Man United, it was just like, it was a clown show because there was no footballing people there. So now you've got a structure. You've got people telling you this is what the club wants. This is what we require from you. So if you do not meet these things, no offense, you're gone. And I like the fact that he's straightforward and he agrees with it. He's not coming out and crying like some managers will. The minute that things get tough, they start crying and they start going at journalists. They start blaming everyone under the sun. They start throwing players under the buses and all these other things. So I like that. And I like the fact that he's also humble too. But he's also letting the players know that if they do not fight them, it's a two-way street. This is a relationship. If you're going to be, in essence, throwing players under the bus, and then you're expecting players to react positively to you, I mean, that doesn't work. And I think you'd rather do that behind the scenes than actually, throw them out in public. That's not his style. He has shown that throughout his managerial career that that's not how he functions. So I like the fact that he has that aura where players will fight for him and they'll die for him till the end. If it doesn't work out, I've always said if it doesn't work out, but as long as we have an identity, we can move on to the next manager and carry on whatever we've built. This is just the foundation phase. Let's not forget that. We don't have a foundation at all. He has to set that foundation phase now going forward. And then we can build from there and become the club, whichever club that we want to become. But it's clear. The message is clear and articulated well to him. There's no misunderstandings of whatsoever, what needs to be achieved and what needs to be, and what he needs to do to gain even more time or to even earn a longer contract. Because contracts should be given on the basis of what you're able to, the objectives you're able to achieve. And even in the workplace, like in general, guys, if you think about it, in general, there's no such thing as giving someone time for the sake of giving someone time. there's a clause in the Basic Conditions Employment Act. Well, I don't know if it's everywhere in the world, but here in South Africa, where you work, you get a probational period, a 3-month probation period. Within that 3 months, if you do not do not meet a certain standard, you want their right. It's within their rights to actually get rid of you. It's their right to get rid of you, and there's nothing you can do to actually fight that. And so, in all sense, it protects the employer as well, because you can't always look at it protecting the employee. You also have to. The employer also has to also protect themselves as well in their businesses. So I don't get this notion where we're like, no, let's just give someone time. He has to prove something. And if he understands that, who are we to tell him that, he's chatting rubbish? And so I like that. I like everything. I like the fact that he said you're gonna see something immediately. You're gonna see something immediately. You're gonna see our identity immediately. You're gonna already see what he's trying to do. Because that's what we've been crying about. I mean, all these shows we've been crying about, when are we seeing an identity? And then the person will tell you, I don't play like that anymore. That's not how I want to play. I want to play the United way. What's the United way? Because we got you here to come and play a specific brand of football that we saw you playing at your previous club, only for us to find out that that's not your brand of football. That's not how you actually play. That's actually that team's way of play. So that's out of the way now. I think we can only focus going forward. I think the Ipswich game, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, lose, win or draw, but I want to see when I see an identity, I'm not gonna lie. Whether we lose or draw, we win, I'm gonna be completely a bit satisfied, because now there's something for me to get behind. So let's just see. Let's just see how this goes. I'm not gonna rush into it. I'm not gonna get giddy. But what I've heard so far, it's someone as a man of logic. And I like men of logic, because they don't, they give us their perspective straight up, and they're not gonna change. And he's only young. Let's not forget that he's a very young manager, and he's still got room. We've usually got people who are on their way down, or people who are inexperienced at all. And then now we've got someone who's got a bit of experience and is right. His trajectory is only gonna go get. His ceiling is very high. So it's interesting to see how this club maneuvers, and the fact that he's gonna actually be a coach. He's the first coach at the football club. So he's the first head coach we've ever had, and his duties are primarily gonna be very different. So yeah.
Yeah, big up, Lesso. Big up. Spitting facts there. Big up, Anusha. Do you think Zexer can fit into 3-4-3, 2-1? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can fit into any formation. Yeah, any player can. Any of these formations, players can. It's up to them about how they adapt and how they play. But I'm not having all these shitty reports about how he's not this, he's not that. It's just lies. It's pure lies and propagation. You can feel confident with Ruben. If you don't run for him every game, you're benched. Ten Hag didn't have the respect. It would be good United challenging. It's been a while. Yeah. Big up Crypto, man. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'll let you exactly where we are in terms of we need this amount of subscribers. I think we're on our way to 800. So please, I think we're like 36 short, 36 subscribers short of 800. 800. The channel is still shadow banned. So yeah, please. There's only one Ruben way now. Let's get behind and hope the identity, consistency, what will then come. Yeah, 100%. Let's hope. We hope and pray. Sersky's one of my favorite players. I want him to do well in this team. Yeah, I think he can. But it's up to him, how hard he works. It's about what he's doing on and off the ball. It's all about those things. It ain't easy. But I think he could play as one of the number 10s. Like the video, people. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, people. Lewandowski, oh my God, he's on fire. scores his 20th goal in all competition in just 18 games. 15 goals in the Liga. 15 goals in 14 Liga games. Boy, oh boy. Talk about a manager to get the best out of you. Woo! He is absolutely smashing it. One more goal for Rafinha, making it 13 goals, 10 assists in 18 games this season. 23 GA in November. Woohoo! He's going for it. He's going for it. Boy, oh boy. Listen, let's not clown. Let's not clown Manchester City. 8 years we've lived in this kind of situation. Now we have to live it again. We have to break in the winning game. All right. It's a United channel after all, people. United channel after all. So we're not that really asked. Let's talk about what we feel about tomorrow. Let's talk about Ipswich. Let's talk about Ipswich, man. Mini crisis. Yeah, they're in a mini crisis. It's not much of a big crisis. They won four league titles in a row. You know what I mean? I don't think, he signed a new deal. He's here for a couple of more years. So they'll get it right. They buy the right way. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting, people. Very interesting tomorrow. But I just wanted to get into a little bit less so with the way that Ipswich play. So let's get into it. They're very good on the counter pressing. They play 4-2-3-1, structure. They're very much set traps and they win the ball back properly. That's their thing. They really focus on winning the ball back quickly in their own territory and absolutely counter pressing. They hunt impacts to regain the possession of the ball. And they set you traps. Sometimes the structure is like 4-2-3-1, high pressure, especially on the sideways and back and backward passes. But what they love to do is overload quickly. They love to overload. Obviously, then they have the double pivot, what gives them that defensive security. But yeah, in the central places, they always want to go on. Really, Ipswich. I watched their game against Spurs, and the way they do it quickly, they set the traps, and their goals came from that. In possession, Ipswich, the winger in the left-hand side becomes like a second number 10, so he comes centrally, and then left back, their captain, their left back goes out wide, and he's really good at whipping balls in. I think it's Davis. They usually, progress the ball through the center of the pitch. Then the mad thing about them, they're really they got this habit of scoring crucial late goals. Crucial late goals, man. They got this habit of scoring crucial late goals. Yeah. Sam Morth is the captain. He plays central midfielder. He's an enforcer, pivotal. Which play through the press. Left back Davis, Leif Davis. He has the record actually last season for the most assists in a championship. George Harris is the player who can drop and receive the ball, line splitting passes, the move to backheel towards the right hand side to trigger an attack. Chaplin is the player who can roam towards the right wing. Upper himself up in a passing option to the right back. So, yeah, they're not an easy team. They're not an easy team, people. And people are going, we can beat Ipswich. We can do this. Listen, boy, oh boy. We can do a lot of things. Panel, what do you think of Cunha? I think Cunha is a good player, but I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer Petro. It's just a different type of player. I like Petro of Brighton. If you said to me Cunha or Petro, I'm getting Petro. But yeah, I'm glad that he's got bangers today. Anyway, how are you? I'm good, man. Big up Monty. Big up Monty. Big up. What he tells me is that it's more secure defensively with more patterns to create chances. We'll keep the ball more, but it's on the players to take their chances, like we always say. Early goal. Yeah, we need to go in there and silence them crowd tomorrow. Yeah. Big up to him. I hope the tractors don't get us tomorrow. and Delap, yeah, and he's their best player. He actually, the way he looks physically reminds me of this Gorkes guy at Sport in Lisbon. The way he runs through people, he throws people on the floor, man. Honestly, he looks so strong. Delap looks so strong. I mean, his dad was quite famous. Remember, guys? Do you remember? You know what I mean? Do you remember, like, his dad? His dad was really, like, with the biggest long throws, and his son turns into this brilliant goal scorer. I mean, he scored 6 goals in 10 games in the Prem, 11 games in the Prem. That's no slouch, man. That's a really, really good. Tractors out tomorrow, mate. Tractors will be out. That country, mate. West Country. Tractors. I can't even do that accent. But yeah, Ipswich are not an easy team to contend with. On and off the ball, they're very well coached, Lesso. They know exactly what they're doing. On and off the ball. Like I said, they set the traps, and their counter pressing is really, really, really good. You know, they go direct to goal. They create the overloads. They're not going to be an easy team to beat tomorrow. What do you think? It's not an easy game. And even the teams who've beaten them, Liverpool, they gave a torrid time to in that first half. And they make chances. They score late goals. They're not an easy team to play against.
No, definitely.
And then especially when you got a new manager coming in, putting in a new system, which majority of players are not confident about. And Amorim has already come in and said he's anxious. You know, he's anxious that his players, he wants them to feel comfortable tomorrow. But yeah, where do you stand on that, Ipswich? Kieran McKenna, obviously been at Manchester United for a long, long time. I think he was a youth player. He went to Spurs as a coach. Then he came to Manchester United to work under Jose. Then he stayed when Ollie and, Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna were the two guys, who were helping and doing some of the stuff, especially some of the games. And Bruno, I saw the interviews, Bruno saying he actually did a lot of the preparations for Ollie. So he's no slouch. And we were actually linked with him, weren't we? We were linked with him to take the job in the summer, take the job. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's what it is. Big up the farmers. Yeah, big up the farmers. Go ahead, Lester. What are you thinking about Ipswich? Have you watched any of their games this season?
I actually did the one against Spurs. Yeah, they're no slouches. It's not gonna be easy. There's no way. I always say that there's no such thing as a guarantee win. In the Premier League, these teams can show up anytime, and we have to be ready. We have to outmuscle them. We have to outrun them. We have to. They're a team that are relentless, and they work hard. They're well organized. They work hard. They'll fight you till the end. There's no game of them where they've just, like, even when they are 4-0 or they losing 4-0 or they losing 3-0, they don't look like 3-0 or 4-0 games. So, it could either get bad for us tomorrow or it can really get good. I think the most important thing is to set the pace. Let's not let them grow. We need to shut up their crowd as quickly as possible. It's very important, especially in away games where you need to take control and sucker punch these guys, and take control of the game a little bit more and deflate them, because now the minute they gain that momentum and they gain that confidence on the ball, and they can bump it a few times, and the crowd will get behind them, and they have the home support. So a team like that can be very dangerous. They can score goals. Like I said, they are organized. I mean, there's games where they even gave teams, a fight till the end, even with 10 men down. They've had several red cards. I remember there's like 2 games, I think, this season where they had a man sent off, and they still didn't look like a team that was 10 men down. So it's not gonna be easy. Let's not kid ourselves. It's not gonna be easy. We're not that good away from home, anyways. And so it's gonna be a test for these guys and their mentality and the manager and how he deals with the atmosphere and everything. It's gonna be his first huge test. And it's funny enough, it's away from home. So against a side that are no pushovers. Against Spurs, I mean, it showed you. It's not. I wouldn't even say that Spurs were bad. Ipswich just showed up, and they're a team that are capable of showing up and giving teams a problem. So, and especially in big games, like they play well. They tend to play well against the big sides. They actually give the big sides a bit of a problem, like you said, even with the Liverpool game. I did watch some of it. It wasn't a walk in the park for Liverpool. And yeah, at some point I thought it could end up as a draw or something. They could get a result here. So yeah, I just think hopefully if we can make sure that we control the tempo from the get-go, we can try and score, try and not score one goal and try and defend, that sort of thing. It's very dangerous because they could easily come back and turn things in their own direction, and they're very pretty much hard to stop when they get there. So yeah, I hope we're set up in a way where we defend and we attack. We're more structured, where we are a little bit cautious, but we actually go for it as well, because they are an open side as well. They tend to be open at times. So
yeah, they take chances. Yeah,
yeah.
obviously
So
they've got players that have bought them through different, from the League One to the Championship to the Premier League. So yeah, I mean, he does the best. They're very well coached, very much energy. They give everything. But I do think that they tend to tire in the Premier League towards the end of games. They tend to tire and they give up chances. And if you press them the right way, you can win the ball back. So the press is going to be super important, the areas where we press them tomorrow. Big up Sobuena to Lesso, yeah. Big up Sobuena. What does Sobuena means?
Oh, he says Sawubona. Okay, he
Sobuena.
says hello. Yeah, it's like a greeting. It's like hello. It's in Zulu. So yeah, no,
Are you
Sawubona to
Zulu?
him then.
Are you Zulu, Lesso?
No, I'm actually I'm Ndebele. Like
Ndebele, yeah?
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same group. We originally originate from south of Africa. So it's an indigenous group. We call it the Nguni groups, where there's Zulu, Xhosa, and Ndebele. Like we're all in one. Like we basically originate from the same.
Yeah,
Pretty
Ndebele. I
much the
know that
same.
Ndebele are in Zimbabwe as well. I got friends who are Ndebele
Yeah.
in Zimbabwe as
Yes.
well.
Yes, definitely.
Is
So
there some Ndebele in Botswana as well?
Botswana, I think it's Tswana people. It's,
Sona.
yeah, Tswana people. Yeah.
Yeah. And some Sona people live in South Africa as well, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm also tied to the Khoisans, the first people who actually lived in South Africa, the first ones who actually discovered South Africa, and pretty much, yeah. So
Yeah, man. Big up people. Big up. We're getting a bit of a anthropology education here. Big up to everybody, yeah. So to me, tomorrow ain't gonna be easy, but let's have a look a little bit of the game. If you look at it, let's have a look at it. Ipswich will monitor Kevin Phillips, who's completed a one game back, but is doubtful because of an unspecified issue. Striker George Hurst faces a spell of sidelined after injuring his knee in the win against Tottenham, but Jacob Reeves and Jack Taylor could come into contention following layoffs. Omari Hutchinson's minutes might need to be managed because he's a bruised foot, while West Burns and Nathan Broadhead have trained despite their minor fitness. Manchester United defender Lisandro Martinez withdrew from international duty with Argentina because of a back pain and might need to be assessed. New boss Amorim could potentially hand a competitive David to Leonero, who returned to training earlier this month after fracturing his metatarsal in July. Amorim said on Friday, we have some guys returning from injury, and in the long-term absentee, Luke Shaw is feeling fine, but stressing that the left back will need to be carefully built up to match fitness. Match facts. Most recent league win against Manchester United was a 3-2 at Portman Road in September '94. Steve Segerley scored the winner for the home side, while Paul Scholes marked his first Premier League debut by netting United's second. The Red Devils have won 4 subsequent top flight meetings, conceding just 1. They've won the most recent Premier League encounter, courtesy of Ruud van Nistelrooy penalty at Portman Road in 2022. So 2002. The only time United have won back-to-back league games away to Ipswich was 1962, 1963. The Blues, the Ipswich, the Tractors are vying to win a consecutive top flight matches for the first time since a run of 4 in January of 2002. They're the only side without Premier League home victory this season, having drawn 3 and lost 2 in their 5 fixtures. Most recent top flight win at Portman though came against Middlesbrough in 2002, with Darren Benford scoring the only goal. Ipswich have had the fewest Premier League shots, 108 shots on target, 33 touches in the opposition's penalty area. Wow. So let me just say that bit again. Ipswich had the fewest Premier League shots, 108, shots on target, 33, and touches in a position penalty area, 199 this season. Liam Delap has scored 6 of the Blues' 12 league goals this season prior to the last round of fixtures. He's one of 3 players who've scored at least half of the side's goals, along with Man City, Erling Haaland, and Nottingham Forest's Chris Wood. So this kid is on fire. Manchester United have won just 2 of their past 13 matches away in all competition, drawing 6, losing 5, claiming league victories at Brighton in May and Southampton in December. They're unbeaten in 19 fixtures versus newly promoted opposition, including 17 victories since a 4-win loss at Watford in 2021. Aged 29 and 33 days, Ruben will become the youngest manager since 30-year-old Will McGuinness led them out on Boxing Day in 1970. McGuinness's first game in charge in August 1969, then aged 31. 3 of United's permanent managers in the Premier League have lost their first game in charge of the club in the competition. So Alex Ferguson, Louis van Gaal, and Eric ten Hag. Bruno Fernandes has made 137 passes, have broken the positions offside line in the Premier League this season, 15 more than any other player. So there we go. That's what we got to say about the game tomorrow. People, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 100 likes. Andy Cole got a hat-trick against them in 91. 9-1 thrashing. What year was that? What year was that, man? Because I think my first game ever at Old Trafford was against Ipswich. Man UFC versus Ipswich. Let me just check. 1990. 1990. 91 season. 91 season. I'll just double check because I think that was my first, honestly, my first ever. That was in 95. Andy Cole scored 9. But I'm sure my first ever game as a 9-year-old was against them. And it's 95, yeah. But
yeah,
it was 95. But I think I went to a game in 1990, I think 91 or 92 season when we won the league. I think we beat Ipswich at home. I think that might have been my first game.
I remember that game. Game. It's one of the first few games that I started watching United.
I was at that game, by the way, when he scored the 5 goals. I was at that game. I sneaked in. I was at the Stretford End, people. Sneaked in. Used to jump over the turnstiles back in the day. Man was a hooligan back in the day. Man used to just jump over. That's what man used to do. So just jump over.
No, man.
It's going to be a strict win for the new manager. I hope you're right.
Mm.
All right, must have been 20 then. Boy. Boy. I was a wee snapper. I ain't gonna lie. I was a wee snapper. But yeah, people, please smash a like. Yeah, we're gonna be talking. We're talking about that. Obviously, that's what we're talking about today. But in terms of Ipswich, in terms of the game tomorrow, what you feeling? How you feeling?
Man, I think for the first time, I'm not stressed about a game. I'm not even stressed about the outcome of the game. I'm more going to be looking at whether
Must be
we
busy.
see the
1 second, Lazo. Yeah, he must be busy. Jarvis must be busy.
yeah. Big up to Jarvis, big up to everyone in the channel. Smash the like button, people, man. Nuruddin actually makes the time to be here, as well. He's a busy man, so and he does this, he's not doing this for any commercial reasons. He's doing this for us to have a voice. So the least we can do is help this channel. Make sure that you share. Make sure you share the links for the show and get more people into the channel. Let's grow. Let's help this channel grow and organically. We do this organically. So yeah, big up. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Ipswich game, I mean, I'm not, like I said, for the first time, I'm not stressed. As you look at me, I'm not stressed. I'm not gonna age, lose it or lose my hair over this one. It's quite simple, really. All we're gonna be looking for is actually an identity. We want to associate ourselves with something. We want to get behind something, and we want to see it in tangible forms. In its bare tangible form. So he said we're gonna see it from the first game. So let's see. I always want to see the actions before, after, after someone has spoken, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But until I see the action, that's when I start now judging you now, and I start seeing that whether what you've been saying correlates with what you actually gonna do. So I know we're gonna see an identity because clearly he's been drilling these people. He gets involved in the actual training and he tells people, no, this is where you stand, this is what you do. So I like that fact that, if someone is messing up, he tells them, hey, you're messing up. When you get the ball, I remember he showed Kobe Mino how to even receive the ball, in which way you should receive the ball. And in this way, it'll make it easier to get the ball to the next person. So he's all about quick, interchangeable moves. You should already know where your teammates are, which is good. It means that there's a structure. It means everyone knows where they're supposed to be, where without the ball and with the ball. So, and how to even receive the ball so that you immediately know you give yourself a chance to give someone the ball without even wasting any more touches and that. So these fundamentals have been lacking with all these managers that have come here. The last time I saw these fundamentals being drilled into these footballers is under Van Gaal. So besides that, everyone else has just been playing freestyle, counter-attacking, low block, counter-attack football, social, same thing. But now we're actually seeing coaching actually being done. And I think this is what's been lacking at the football club. So that's what I'm excited to see for the first time. Let's see how it goes. If we can get a good result, it's even better. It means it can only get better because you must understand that it can't get worse than we were. We can't. We know that is the bottom of the barrel. So yeah, man, I'll be looking forward to actually deciphering this, in the match reaction show, and we can hopefully say that we saw this side of pattern, we saw that other pattern, we saw how players are positioned without the ball, what we do with the ball, our movements, as well as the formation. Because now everyone has been talking about he's going to play that formation and that formation. He might surprise us tomorrow and play a different formation. So yeah, we'll just see what kind of more or less. But what I like is that no player is safe. No player safe. Every player understands that they have to fight for their position. Doesn't matter who you are. And he's also said that he knows every trick. I like that quote actually, where he said he knows every trick. that these players
Yeah.
use. So if players trying to go against him or anything like that, he'll know very quickly and he'll nip it in the bud. So it's very good to actually have someone who's actually come from that to not far from this generation and understands this generation of footballers, and understands how they work, everything, the matrix and the politics behind the scenes. So it's gonna be interesting to see, because these players are not gonna get a free ride now. Everyone is watching them more than we're watching Amorim. We're gonna see how they react to the actual tactics and the actual implementation of that is the coaching that's gonna be done, and if whether they receive it or they don't receive it. So
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow. Somebody asked this question. I wouldn't give a damn if they play well in the system. If he plays all three of them and ball out, I wouldn't give a damn, bro. I wouldn't give a damn. That's the biggest thing for me.
I would even give
Players turn
him
up.
more credit.
Say that again.
I would even give him more credit if he manages to actually coach those guys to be in a system, because you need to be a very special manager to actually be able to get those guys balling in a system. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. 100%. So yeah, give him more credit, people. Give him more credit if he gets the best out of these players, and I don't care who plays. One thing I do know about him, though, his use of substitution is really good. He doesn't just wait there and sit there. He changes it. Big up. Big up. So, what you reckon about tomorrow's game? Let's know in the chat, people. What do you think? Who's going to win the game tomorrow?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but I think we should win. I think we should win. I think we will win. Of that new manager bounce, it's very underrated. So these players will fight. They'll give it their all, and we're gonna see a different system and a different way of playing. So I'm up for it. Everyone who ever comes from the bench as well is gonna be more motivated because it's their chance to shine. It's a new breath of fresh air. I think players were just tired at some point of seeing Ten Hag. If we're being honest, it's the same thing that's happening even at City. If we're being honest, they need to refresh. They need to change, and it's the point where they just they're tired of Pep. To be honest, they just need a refresh, on everything and a different approach. So with us, it's funny enough, it's fresh, so it's in our favor in a way, and I can see us win that game. I don't think we will lose. I think we'll win that game. We've got more than enough quality to get us, even if we don't play superbly well, but I think we do have more than enough quality to get over the line and actually get 3 points. So I can see maybe us get a few good results, in the next coming games. So yeah.
Let's hope, bro. Let's hope. Let's definitely hope. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. Yeah, I just want to get that first win on the board. That's the big thing. I really want to get that win on the first board, man. And hopefully have a good start. I just don't want Ipswich to rain on our parade tomorrow, man. Genuinely. Because the optimism is peak right now. It's really high, the level of the giddiness all over social media. United fans are all over the gaff, honestly. They're all over. I'm just going to let the cat out. But yeah, what score do you reckon tomorrow? Let's go. Give me the score.
I think it should be 2-1 or 3-1, 2-1, around there. But I think we will score. Since Ipswich, like we said, they do tend to open up a little bit. So if you've seen with the way they concede, they do lose matches like 4-1 or something. So I think we can score. I think it will be a 3-1, 3-2 game. But yeah, we'll see. But I think Amorim did say that the first thing that they're gonna focus on the most, I think it's the scoring part. They focus more on the offensive side because that's where we've been lacking. So I can see us actually improve our goal scoring over the coming games. But yeah, so I think 3-2 for me. Let's just hope I'm right on that. But I think we will score.
Wow, high scoring game.
Yeah, I think it's a high scoring game.
Listen, get it in, people. Get it in. Let me know who you think your front three is going to be tomorrow as well. Get your front three in. Leicester, who do you think your front three is going to be? You think 3-2 United tomorrow, but who's going to be your front three tomorrow?
That's very difficult to know. I think obviously Rashford is going to play.
We're all guessing. It's a guess game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's guessing. I think he's going to try and go more with the people who have been in training with him. I think he's going to try and get those people more. I think they have a chance of starting ahead of the ones that are coming from the international break. So I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed match. People are going to be surprised with the lineup tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. So my front three is going to be probably Rashford. He'll probably pick Rashford in there. He'll probably have Garnacho in there. He'll probably have you never know. He might try and go for Zexia or Hoyland, depending. So I think he'll more or less go with Hoyland. I think he'll go with those three. If it doesn't work, he's gonna change it. He's a manager that he doesn't take his time in making substitutions. So I can foresee us making substitutions if it's not working. So yeah, it's still the trial phase, like I say, and more or less as time goes by, we'll get to learn more about him and which players he prefers within the squad.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think 2-1 United. I think it's going to be squeaky bum time. I think it's going to be close tomorrow. My front three, he did allude to it in the MUTV or the interview in the press. He's not going to pick players. I think it might have been with Gary Neville as well. He alluded to the fact that he's going to be playing. I think Masraoui will play. Dalot will play. He mentioned Amad Diallo as well. And yeah, Rashford, obviously, he said he's ready for tomorrow. He said it's not going to be a new team. He's going to be playing some of the players who are already been in the squad. So he's going to keep with those players. Yeah, his first game, play Rashford, Hoyland, Garnacho, Bruno, Casemiro, Delight. Okay. Okay. 4-2, he reckons. Lucky things 4-2. Can we be lucky tomorrow, Lucky? Can we be lucky tomorrow? Can we make it lucky tomorrow? That's what we need to do. But yeah, big up to everybody.
What do you think is gonna go for that?
Say it again.
Which front three do you think is gonna go with?
I think Amad Diallo, Rashford, Bruno. Yeah, I think he's good. I think he might do Rashford through the middle, I think he might do Rashford through the middle. But then I'm like, why are you not going to pick? I think Rashford might play on one side, like one of the number 10s, with Bruno or Ahmad. I think it might be Ahmad, Rashford, Bruno. Rashford in the middle. Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Big up Sean. Sean, talk to me. Yeah, listen, you got 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes. I'm going to just mute. Give me your style. You got 5 minutes to tell it all. Your reaction to the Gary Neville interview, to the first press conference, your reaction, and are we underrating Ipswich tomorrow? Could they dance on our parade? And then who do you think is going to be the front three? There you go. Take it away.
So I'll start with the second to the last question. There's no way in hell they're dancing up on our parade. I think the new manager bounce continues. I think we're going to knock Ipswich out of the park, probably 3-0 or 4-0 or something. I don't think they'll be able to cope with the excitement and the energy they'll be bringing. With regards to the interviews, I like every single thing that I'm hearing from Amorim. The more I listen to him talk, the more I like him. especially because he seems to understand the principles, I think, for what it takes to be a United manager. So lots of people were criticizing Gary Neville for what he said. But to me, what I heard Amorim say was that he agrees with Gary, but that it's a club's responsibility to set the standard. Right? But that sounds like somebody who knows that Rashford and Casemiro were wrong for traveling abroad, and that the team right now needs to respect the position we are in the league, but that we can definitely do better than where we are, and that we need the players in the squad to all be pushing in the same direction. I like what he says when he says everybody wants to play right now, and that if you ask somebody to play goalkeeper self, they'll want to play. That tells me that the squad is full of people who are willing to not only take the chance that we're giving them, but they're willing to wipe the slate clean themselves. And nobody liked what I said when I said everybody gets basically a clean slate. But it sounds like Amorim agrees. I love this manager. He's talking about how clearly the media doesn't believe in the players, and some fans don't believe in the players too. But he, as a coach, believes in the players, and I love that. I love that he's not writing Rashford off or writing Anthony off, or writing Missing Mouth off, or writing acting like many of the fans basically that I listen to and I hear. So everything that I've heard from Amorim so far, I love it basically. I like the way they've crowned him. Jose was the special one. Amorim is the right one at the right time. And I think against Ipswich, I think we just have too much quality, honestly. I think too much quality in our team, new manager bounce. I think all of that should be too much, frankly, for Ipswich. I expect us to score quite a few goals, and I think we'll blow them away.
Big up. Wow.
Hey.
You guys have come.
Well, sorry, I didn't know you were live. I was just, my phone was dead, so I charged
No
it.
problem.
Turned
No
it on.
problem. No, listen, I'm glad that that you were having a nice evening. Your phone was dead. You don't need to be on your phone all the time. You can enjoy life.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. But when you have kids, you have a life. It's never a dull moment. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, carry on, Jarvis. I'll let you take center stage. Well, take the stage, and I'm just going to be in the background right here watching Match of the Day. So I want your reaction to Unai Emery's, not Unai Emery. What the hell? Ruben Amorim. God. Ruben Amorim, first presser, the Gary Neville interview. First of all, let me give you my couple of words. I thought he called out the club, the bullshit about the club. He called out Gary Neville to his face and said, I don't care what you guys think of me, where I finish. No, he didn't. No, he didn't agree with Gary Neville. He said it was up to the club. It had nothing to do with the players. He said it was up to the club. You need to clean out the wax out of your ears, Sean. He said it's got nothing to do with the players. He said it's nothing to do with the players. It was up to the club that messed it up. It's nothing to do with the players. They told the players they can go on holiday. They didn't tell them where to go, when and they could go. So he told him to his face, I don't care where you and all the United legends think I'm going to finish. I don't give a damn. I'm focused on the game, then the next game, then the next game. He said players cannot run to Dan Ashworth anymore, the director of sporting director. And he said they can't even run to their agents because I'll be talking to the agents and then Dan Ashworth. And he said players have nowhere to hide. So this is the things. Called out the legends to the face, called out the club and Ineos.
What interview did you watch, Sergey? Come on.
No. Let me finish. Sean, you've had your say, mute. Called out the players and said players have got nowhere to hide. And then when he went to the press conference, he was trying to create a bit of the siege mentality. He was like, I know some of you guys, he's clever what he's doing. Some of you guys don't think these players can do it, but I believe they can. And then when that question was asked later on, he was like, well, I'm going to believe in them until they give me a reasons not to. So Jarvis, take it away. What did you think? I was really impressed. He went into detail about the tactics. He went into detail in the way how Manchester United should play. He said, I'm the right guy for the right time. He said, And if I get sacked if I get the sacked, you know, the sun will still go around the moon, whatever. Moon will go around the sun. You know, we wake up the next
Life
day.
will go on. Yeah.
Life will go on. So,
yeah.
what did you think about it? All of it. I'll mute. I'll let you.
Well, as you said, everything he says is perfect.
By the way, I can still hear you, so I'm just moving here so I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Everything he says is perfect. I like what I heard from Amorim. He's a solid. It's almost like a politician coming in with this tan and perfect hair and saying all the perfect words. He comes from a perfect background. Everything is perfect. For me, when I hear stuff like that, I'm just gonna say I feel a little bit suspicious. I get suspicious right away. It's not on Amorim, but I get suspicious on everything because there's something with my PTSD when it comes to Man United, and you know, it's been a tough 12 years, 18 years under the Glazers since Ferguson left. I felt a little bit like this when we had Ollie, you know, the first 3-4 months when we started winning everything and we felt that we were back. We are back, baby. We beat PSG. That was like the epiphany of everything away. That was even bigger than, for me, than the FA Cup final and the League Cup final. Winning against PSG, we all felt it, you know, the giddiness. And then suddenly everything just dropped and we started losing and we couldn't turn it around again. And I don't know if it's because now we have a manager coming in like feel good. The feel good factor is there. He says all the right things. And we had the same under Ole.
The hope that kills you, Jarvis, is the hope that kills.
Yeah, but you know, I gotta be honest. I'm afraid to get hurt again because I've been hurt so many times because of this. So I'm holding back.
So many times.
Yes,
we've been hurt so many times.
I'm holding back. I don't know. So it's very hard for me to get giddy when it comes to Amorim. It says all the perfect words. Even though if we win 5-0 tomorrow against Ipswich, I still will be reserved. I can't. Yeah. I can't go full in. He needs to show me more, and he needs to show me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. What I loved about him was how much of a direct communicator he is. I actually think he speaks more from the heart than a politician. Politician has some sort of script. He speaks from the heart, and that's what I felt from him. Certain people are very good communicators. His directness was the most impressive thing for me. And the level of open and honesty that he was going to. He said, we're going to suffer. He said, when they asked him, how can you get the place? He said, even in the interview he gave to MUTV, he said, I'm anxious for the players because of what I've told them already, what I'm telling them. I'm anxious if they're going to feel comfortable. I'm going to feel. So he is definitely, you talked about Ollie, those first 11 games. Boy, oh boy. Ollie at the wheel.
Yeah.
The thing is, like,
that Cardiff game, that 5-1, was it 5-1? Was it 5-1? 5-1 away at Cardiff. To me,
5-1, yeah.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what we were watching. But
the thing for me is that like he did give political answers. And that's for me what made him so charming. Because unlike you, what I heard him say to Gary Neville was that, Gary, I agree with you, but I'm not going to say that here. I'm not going to say that on this interview that I agree with you that Rashford and Casemiro should not have gone to America. So what I would say instead is that the club should have set the standard and that we can't, after the fact, accuse Rashford and Casemiro of breaking a rule that wasn't there in the first place. But it's up to the club now to fix it going forward. Perfect answer. Wonderful. And to address Jarvis' concern, like, we've been hurt before. I think in that interview also, he acknowledged that many fans don't trust or can't trust him, right? He seems to have an understanding of LVG, Solskjaer, because he talked about it. He talked about the fact that the club has had different kinds of managers in their history. He even went as far as praising Ten Hag as the best, as raising the best team outside of the big 5 leagues in Europe.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he praised Ten Hag. So, he gave very political answers that to me showed somebody who not only understands where he is, but understands the stakes, basically, understands like the kind of tightrope that he needs to walk. And so far, so good, right? Nobody has kicked the ball yet. There are no points on the board yet, but everything to me so far A plus. Like he has answered and handled everything. He seems to understand that the players need to. He seems to understand that he needs to be able to walk tall and carry a big stick. So basically, he needs to be able to mix the charm and charisma with a certain ruthlessness. And he has already hinted at that ruthlessness that, if anybody isn't falling in line with what I want, you're basically going to be cut out, right? And it makes sense to give everybody a clean slate. That right now, everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to play, and some of them are so willing to play that they'll play and they'll be a goalkeeper if they ask them to. That to me is a positive sign. So like for now, he has the trust of the players. They all seem to be motivated to want to play for him, right? And where he's going to differentiate himself from all the other managers that failed is that when the going gets tough, does he have the balls to do what needs to be done then? Is the club going to back him? But so far, political answers, wonderful. Like if he was a politician, I think our society would be much better place than it currently is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I actually thought honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, he reminded me of Ralph Ranić, how open he was, how honest he was about everything. He was fully transparent. I think most politicians like to answer. I take it a totally different way. He basically said it was the club and the club's fault for the way that the players were just told to go wherever, have a holiday for 5 days. And that's who he blamed it on. He didn't get into any of that. He said he will do it differently because, do certain players need mental break? Do they need physical break? Because after 3 days, if you're not training, if you're not doing anything, then you might lose that. But Jarvis, I agree with you on the whole. You know what? It's too good to be true. You know what I mean? But you, Sean, Lesso, you are Tiami, the last 12 years, Manchester United fans, we've seen some of these players. When the going gets tough, they all hide. Isn't it a bit suspicious, Jarvis, that they all come back fit? Everybody's fit and ready to go. Because the new guy
tells everything.
It's
tells us what we have been talking about. We know who they are. We can see them. We know who they are.
This is it. This is it, Jarvis. And that's why I will go back to you and think, Sean can get giddy and say this and that about players, but for me, of course, any coach who comes without starting the season before having a pre-season and having a transfer window open, is gonna say, "Oh, I'm with the players." But the biggest thing about Amorim, and he let it be known, it's about the players. It's about the way he treats his players. So, do you think he's that clever enough to basically set traps for the players so that they can't let him down like what they've done? They snaked most other coaches and managers of Manchester United drivers. I'll come to you, Sean.
Oh, sure.
Go to Jarvis first. Do you think he will create a situation where they can't snake him?
Well, he said so in the interviews. He's been a player. He's played all position, even on the bench. He knows the agents. He knows all around the club and how the football world works. So he can do it. Yeah, but I think it will be difficult. I think these players, I don't know. These players has let us down so many times. We know they are willing to work when needed sometimes, and sometimes they don't give a fuck. They don't want to track back. They don't want to train. They don't want to do the hard work. They're not into the details. They don't want to prepare. They don't want to follow the plan, do the preparations. Sometimes they just want to go to Belfast and have a couple of shots, or New York, or wherever they want to go and go to clubs dancing. And I respect you. They have privacy and they have their own life. But when the team is not doing well, you have to do everything you can to make it work again. They get paid a king's ransom every week for performing and actually performing for us as fans, for us to feel good. That's their job. They want to make us as fans feel good, but they can't do it persistently, consistently all the time, and that's the biggest problem. And when the tough gets going, they have one answer, and that's to hide. Put their head into the sand like an ostrich and hide. But we can all see them. We all see them downing tools in the way they are. So it's nothing new. And I don't know how Amorim can fix this. The culture, the same repetitiveness, the same patterns that have been going on for the last 10 to 12 years. I don't know how he can do it, because they will backstab you. They will stand beside Amorim, smile, put their arms on his shoulder, be Amorim's best friend. But when the tough gets going, they will stab him in the back as soon as they can, just to save their own ass. This is the culture of Man United. So for me, I can't see Amorim fixing this by himself. Yeah. But it's not only Amorim. He's just the head coach. We have Wilcox. We have Omar Barada, we have Sir Jim, we have all the Ineos system. Maybe they can do it. Maybe they can do it together. But one head coach or a manager can't do it himself. And this is different this time. So I got to tell myself it's different. So I gotta focus, because we know that Wilcox, Amorim will just coach them on the pitch, talk to them in the locker room. But if they have anything they want to say, if they need a day off, if they need to be with their family, if there's some emergency, if they have anything planned, if they're a little bit injured, they have to go to Wilcox. And he again have to go to Barada. And if Barada is not sure, he have to go one step up, maybe to Dodgy Dave. And maybe Dodgy Dave have to call Sir Jim. And then they get the final thumbs up or down. So it will be difficult, but I think for once we have a system in place, and that's actually quite interesting. So time will tell. I can't give a good answer on this question, Nuruddin. I can just pass the ball to Sean or Lesso. Maybe they have a good answer.
I want to reject like the framing entirely. I sincerely hope that Amorim is not trying to set traps for his own players. That's not the type of framework or mindset that I want my manager operating under at all. I believe him when he says he's giving these players a clean slate and everybody a chance to prove themselves. And I think it's unfortunate that, despite the fact that many fans understand that over the past 12 years, the club's failures have been structural. If we all understand that the players have been structural, why are we now putting it on these players? Basically making them responsible for the failures over the last 12 years. It's not on them. Secondly, how many of these players here have been there for that long? Aside from Rashford, Luke Shaw, maybe Diogo Dalot, nobody else that is really a mainstay in this squad, and Lindelof as well. Nobody that's a mainstay in this squad has been through that many iterations of Manchester United. And for somebody like Rashford, I said it before on this channel, I'll say it again. I forgive Rashford for coming into this squad as a young 18-year-old or whatever, and having to take the mantle as the superstar for a dysfunctional team. I forgive him for all of that. I forgive Rashford for not by himself developing into the type of wonderful footballer that we all expect him to be. I forgive him for all of that, and I hope that now that he has a manager and a structure around him, they can get the best out of the players. I take the stuff of mental health very seriously, and when I listen to Phil Jones talk, I believe him when he says most players want to play. So I don't look at Luke Shaw and see somebody who's stealing a living. I look at Luke Shaw and look at somebody who's frustrated, probably with himself. That
one second, Sean. 1 second. 1 minute. Big up Lee for the raid, by the way. Big up Lee. Big up Lee for the raid. Appreciate it. Big up. Go ahead. I want to ask him to win the league. We want to ask him to win the league, man.
No, we don't. No, we don't want us not to win the league. What?
You rather Liverpool win the league than Arsenal?
Man, I hear the legacy. I hear the legacy fan base, and I get.
I can't sing 20 times Man United anymore. That's one of my favorite songs. If Liverpool win the league, I can't sing 20 times Man United.
I understand.
20 times I say 20 times Man United. Playing football, the must be way. I can't sing that, Sean.
I don't know about where you are in Manchester, but like in my network, I don't see too many Liverpool fans, so I can live with a Liverpool.
I can't
this
sing
thing,
that. We
but
have to retire that song. If
No, I
Liverpool win the
understand.
league, we have to retire that song.
I understand, and that's for you because of your immediate environment. It's more that's a more important issue. For
Let's
me,
get a quick
I
vote.
just
Let's
know
go.
too
Would
many.
you mind if Arsenal won the league?
I have to sadly agree with Sean on that one.
What?
You know,
Jarvis,
I have to
you
say,
Arsenal win the league.
Why
No fucking way. No way.
So?
No way. I would
Liverpool.
rather Arsenal win it. I would
There you
rather
go.
Arsenal win it than Liverpool. You know,
Yeah, no.
Liverpool is our biggest rival historically, and they have 19 league titles. We have 20. So we wanna be the best club as always. And I have too many friends that are Liverpool supporters, and I don't want to take the banter. You know, I can't take it.
Yeah, it's the exact
So-
opposite, Jarvis. I have too many friends that are Arsenal fans, and I think Les will feel the same way.
in Africa, there's more Arsenal fans than Liverpool fans, and they're annoying. They're very much annoying. So we don't want to deal with that.
Trust
Trust
right
me.
now. Big up people. Get involved in the poll and smash a like on the video. Who would you rather win the league? Who?
They'll be parading.
This is such a horrible question. Like, would you rather get shot in the hand or get shot in the leg?
Win the league. Win the Prem.
Can I pick none of the above?
Gunners. Or Scout.
That's actually a good one. That's a good one.
Or the poo. That's what we call them around here. The poo. The poo.
Yeah. Can you imagine the internet if Arsenal wins the league? Like we would never hear the last of it. Like we would never hear.
Getting bold in the poll. Who do you want to win? The Gunners or the poo poo?
Yeah, nah, the Gunners, like we've been bantering them 20 years, no title. Like it needs to continue. They need to remain banter FC. For Arsenal to break that duck, I'm just saying, my brother, my father, Arsenal fans. Like I'm in group chats with tons of Arsenal fans. They're too annoying. Please, I don't think we can do that. But yeah, now back to what we're saying about the club. I don't believe that. I don't believe the conspiracy or what is being implied that some of these players were just waiting for Ten Hag to go, only for them to recover fitness now. I think there's a bit of a coincidence at play here. I think Ten Hag definitely dug his own grave. And even though I supported him and I backed him as a manager, he dug his own grave and he was sacked, right? I was looking at the video on the internet of when he awarded Martinez and I think Casemiro Garnacho with awards after the World Cup. And he just had zero charisma, no charm, wasn't able to inspire the players. So sure, right? Most of them no longer were willing to work hard for him. And I think it's easy for us as fans to say that, well, you get paid, and so you should work hard. But I think as somebody who works professionally, I know that some days I'm less motivated than other days, and my salary is not enough to keep me motivated. Sometimes you need a boss that can inspire you. Sometimes you need your company or your organization to be working on something interesting to inspire you. So I think this project that we have right now is inspiring. I think Amorim as a person brings that bubbly feeling to everyone around him. And they're just players that we have that this 12-year period that we're all talking about. I don't blame the players basically for the outcome. I don't blame them entirely. Especially on this channel where we know that the Glazers have destroyed the club. I think it's okay to forgive, or I would suggest or recommend or plead that we give these players some grace and allow them the opportunity basically to prove themselves under the structure that we all wanted, with a director of football, with a clear distinction between the coach and the scouting and recruiting structure, with the structure that we all wanted. Now that we have it, and with a new manager who is clearly going to give us an identity, let's all wait and see, basically, with my own approach.
Big up to the Liverpool fans. I'm only having a laugh calling you the poo-poo. You're going to win if you win the fucking league. Can you imagine Arne Slot wins the fucking league on his first fucking season as manager in the Prem? That would be unbelievable. That would be one of the greatest wins ever. I can't have that.
Not if Amorim ball comes in and we go on a title charge.
I don't know. You're in California, yeah. I don't know what you're smoking up there, what you're drinking down there, Sean, but you need to put it down. Put it down wherever it is.
Believe.
You need to put it down. But yeah, genuinely, Liverpool fans. Let me just go on the survey. So at the moment, we nearly had 30 people vote. 22 Liverpool, 22% Liverpool, 78 Arsenal. So I'm sorry, Sean and Lesso. You're losing handsomely.
Yeah, that's too small a sample size. 30 people. Let's wait till the sample size increases and we'll see.
We need to get 100 of you to quickly
skews.
vote, and please, 100 of you to like the video. Big up Lee for the raid. Appreciate Lee.
Big up.
But yeah, Arsenal battered. Who did they play? Nottingham Forest today. Was it Forest they played? They battered them anyway.
2-1, didn't they win? Or
no, they won 3-0.
3-0. Okay, yeah.
I think it was 3-0 they won. Chelsea won 2-1.
Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea.
Won 2-1.
The shocker of today is Spurs versus City.
Yeah. But what a game next week, people. What a game next week. I need even City to beat them. I need City to come back alive next week and to beat Liverpool. I can't have Liverpool winning the league. Bro. I'm sorry. I don't know how you, Sean, and Lesso don't think that Liverpool winning the league.
We've told you how. There's a cultural context to it. It's just the way it is. I didn't grow up around too many Liverpool fans. I know a couple, but I don't know that many. The fans that I know the most, Arsenal and Chelsea, right? And Chelsea fans, they give or take. We can live with them. Arsenal fans are the people that I hate the most. That was the rivalry I grew up with. I grew up with Henry versus Roy Keane. I grew up facing that. I didn't get to experience the Liverpool United rivalry per se, right? I grew up with the Arsenal Highbury versus Old Trafford. That's rivalry for 10 or so years of the Premier League in the 90s. That's what I remember. That's what has stayed with me basically throughout, right? I think it's a generational aspect to it as well. But yeah, I would rather see anybody win the league than Arsenal, honestly.
Honestly, I just can't have it. I'd rather have Arsenal win the league because I've got a lot of Liverpool people in my family. A lot of them are my cousins. A lot of people support Liverpool. A lot of people. I went to university in Liverpool. I got friends from Liverpool who are die-hard Liverpool fans.
Yeah, that's why.
Some of my really good friends, big Liverpool fans. I just will never hear the end of it. So I'd rather have Arsenal. There are a couple of Arsenal fans in Manchester, but come on. You know what I mean? And if Arsenal would have deserved to have won it the way they played for the past 2 years. So I'd rather they win the league. But going back, Jarvis, going back to Lesso. Eric Ten Hag sporting 15 players, if I'm not mistaken. So there are players who have sacked managers. Bruno, Rashford, Luke Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire. Who else are the regulars who have sacked managers? Lindelof, Maguire, Diego Dalot, Bruno, Rashford. Who are the players who have sacked multiple managers? Who sacked Ollie? Dalot, Rashford, Bruno.
That's it. And
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much.
Lindelof, Maguire. Yeah.
Dalot was there. Not many of them. Yeah, but it's about the culture. It's about the. I think the players get really powerful when they become Man United players. Their Twitter followings, their social media followings. I don't know that you can put 1,000x on it because you have a huge fan base. They got sponsorship deals, image rights, everything. So they lose their focus on being a footballer, and suddenly they become a celebrity, a star of some kind, like a Hollywood movie star, and they lose a lot of focus. And I think this is part of the problem, because the club under Ferguson, he kept the players down. He kept them grounded all the time, both feet on the ground. But as soon as Ferguson left, We had that fucking Pecker Ed Woodward coming in and said we are going to become the Disney World of football, or whatever he said, the Hollywood of football. We can buy anyone. It doesn't matter if you win or not. And it started to build the brand even more, selling Man United merch to in every aspect, and sponsorships and sponsorship deals, and and I think in all of that chaos under Ed Woodward, the club lost part of its soul, and the soul was keeping young players grounded, keeping players humble, and we lost it. And that's part of the biggest problem. It's been going on, and you see new players coming in. Suddenly the hype is there, and they become untouchable. Football is second rate for them. That's money. That's the main focus. The deals, the shoes, the brands, the clothing, their social media following. So this is the biggest problem, I think. And I don't know. I think the new structure need to really
Jarvis,
take a hard look at
how much of
themselves
it do
and
you
the
think?
club.
How much of it do you think was because the club did not have a strong leader, right? So in this period, in the manager position, we didn't have any strong leader. The closest we had was Jose, and both the club and the fans, I think, bear some responsibility for backing players who ended up not being able to be trusted over Mourinho when he was trying to draw a line in the sand, right? Mourinho chose to die on the hill, chose to die on the principal hill of playing Fellaini in positions, basically, instead of some of the superstars that we had in the team, right? He wanted to get rid of Marshall and Pogba and some players who eventually failed us, essentially, over a long period of time. But the fans and the club backed him. I think one thing that Amorim said about taking 6 months, not listening to anything outside, I think would help as well. What we've lacked is a kind of like strong person, basically, who is able to stamp his authority, right, and hold his players accountable. How much of it do you think is just down to the culture, or do you think there's any merit to what I'm saying, that it was a lack of leadership, basically, in the managerial chair?
I think the culture's rotten. I'm in Manchester. I can talk to that. The culture's rotten. Glazers put bankers in charge. They set a culture of everybody getting paid. It's champagne. You know what I mean? Everybody's still getting paid. Back in the day, used to come to Manchester United to use that as an opportunity to be here, to show your talent, to showcase the type of player that you are, to make a name for yourself. Majority of signings, because of the agents that they use and everything, they came here to put their feet up. I've made it. Let's drink champagne. Let's have a laugh. We don't give a damn. We're gonna get like Jarvis said. We're gonna get all the following. We're gonna get everything, and we don't give a damn. We get our contract with big wages. We stay. They get rewarded. Remember when Smalling and Jones got even a bigger contract? Edward was just boom, boom, boom. It was part of the Glazonomics. So at the end of the day, that's the culture. But before we leave, guys, I'm gonna just go stay with Jarvis. Jarvis, Ipswich, not an easy team. Who's your front three? Possible front three tomorrow? And what do you think the score's gonna be?
Yeah, picking the team tomorrow will be difficult because we don't know what Amorim is going to do. But
we do know. In one of the interviews, he said it's not going to be massive change from where the team has been before with Ruud. He said he's not going to veer too much from that. He did say that.
Yeah, and I think that's a wise move. I don't think you want to change it up too much. You want to keep the rhythm because we are mid-season now. I think if this was June he came in and the first game in August, I think we would have seen a lot of changes. But as he said, it's the team is built around a different style. So he's have to work with the players now and try to change them in a way to work in his system. And he knows that these players are not the right for him. They are, as he said. And let's say he need wingbacks, so he needs to try to make Garnacho work as a wingback, for example. And he don't know if he will succeed yet. But I think he said he will 100% go for his style, and there's no prisoners. He want to do it. That's his way, and we all liked it when he said it. But it will be difficult. And will we be as firm if we lose? Let's say we lose against Spurs, lose against City, lose against Arsenal in the next upcoming games, and we lose badly. Do we have the backbone? Do we have the strength not to change it up? That's the thing. So we will see. Tomorrow, I heard a lot of rumors about Højlund getting benched and Rashford is going to start at number 9. It will be interesting. I said so myself.
You predicted it. Big up. He said it again in the MUTV interview that Rashford can be in 3 positions of the pitch. And he said Mason Mount. He's in love with Mason Mount. That's if he ever stays fit. And he said he's the only guy who's played my system. So it's interesting. Go ahead, Jarvis.
He did so in Chelsea as one of the 2 10s. So he can actually do this. And we know Mason Mount. Yeah.
Well, he said Mason Mount can play in 2 positions. I think one of them is midfield as part of the 2, and the other one is
8 and the 10.
Yeah.
He can do both 8 and the 10. So Mason Mount, he's a good player, but can he stay injury free? And this is the biggest problem. We know now we have had a little bit of rest. We have the international break. Players are fit. They are coming back. We have training. The vibes are good. But now we come up to end of November. We have full December, January, match every 3 days, every 3rd day, every 4th day. A lot of Europa League, Thursdays, Sundays. You play late Sunday night. You go back to England. You sleep in hotels. You live in airports, and then you have to go back and go again and play over and over again and perform at a high level. Will they stay fit? This is a big problem. I think we can do this. I think Rashford will start tomorrow. Ahmad in one of the 10s and Bruno in the other 10. That's the front 3. Or were you thinking of the wingbacks, Nuruddin, when you asked about the front 3?
Oh. Say that again, Jarvis.
Were you referring to the wingbacks when you asked about the front 3?
No.
Or the 2 number 10s and the number 9?
He already said he's going to start with Masraoui and Diego Dalot in the Gary Neville interview. He alluded to that. Okay. He's going to be starting with Diego Dalot and Masraoui.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's. I'm fine with that. So yeah, Ahmad, Bruno, and Rashford then.
No, I think the same.
3. Yeah.
I think the same. That's who's going to start.
Yeah, I agree with that. As well. That would be my front 3. Okay. Rashford, Bruno, Ahmad.
Yeah, I think the team picks itself. When the only thing that's really difficult to predict is the left center back, in my opinion.
Who plays as the 2 number 8s? Ugarte and who?
Okay. Yeah, Ugarte and Casemiro. I think they will play.
Not for sure.
I think the 3 will be. The 3 will be Martinez. I think De Ligt in the middle, and they reckon Euro because he was pulled out of a game, reserves game on the 18th game. He was pulled out, and they think Euro might be starting tomorrow. There's a strong rumors that Euro might start.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. But Martinez, is he fit? He had a hip injury, we heard.
We're going to know now, actually. Let me just check now, because some of the quotes will come out right now, because that's where the second part of the interview will come out. So let me just check right now. Second part of the interview is coming out now, so let's check.
Yeah. It's 11 o'clock.
I can be smart. Remember and say I can be the smiling one, but when you have a job to do, it will be a different person. The players understand that. I can be the smiling one, but we have a job to do, and I will be different person. The players know that. That's what's come out of the second bit. Let me see if I can watch a little bit of it, and I can let you guys know. So let's just stay live for a bit.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
see what it says about who players who are fit.
yeah. But do we have any other options? Let's say you don't play Euro and Martinez is injured. How
Johnny
do we
Evans.
set up?
Johnny
Will
Evans.
Johnny Evans stay in the central
Yeah.
defender area?
Yeah.
Will we see Luke Shaw back on the
No,
left? Maybe.
Luke Shaw
Lindelof as well.
needs more game time. More. He can't. He's not going to risk him tomorrow.
Okay. So then we have Lindelof, Johnny Evans, and
No, Lindelof has been
On the
injured,
list.
isn't it? He's the one that's been injured. Lindelof has been injured.
okay. So we had De Ligt and Evans then.
De Ligt, Evans, and Martinez maybe.
With or without an hip injury. So
I won't be
Yeah.
surprised if Euro starts. I won't be surprised if we see Euro. I mean, he's been back for a minute now. I think
but
he was
Harry
back the day
Maguire, is he
before.
back?
Sorry?
I think he's back, but not fully fit. But I think Euro was back before Ten Hag left now, right? So he's probably been training for a while. And, maybe worst case scenario, he can give us 60 minutes or 70 minutes. And if we're comfortable, we move Casemiro to centre back and then bring mine on to as a sub in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything.
If Maguire is injured, if Luke Martinez is injured, Luke Shaw can't play, Lindelof is injured, and Lenny Euro can't play, we are down to Evans and De Ligt as centre backs in the back three. So the only option as I see it will be dropping Casemiro in the right centre back and play Mainu in centrally. How do that is that possible?
Well, I
Yeah,
like
I
Bugatti and
Yeah, I have a role.
I
Yeah,
like Bugatti and Mino in midfield, but
yeah.
I don't
I
think
do
Casemiro
think-
will play defense. I think Euro will start.
I think the guys. I don't think he's going to risk too many of the guys who are coming back from injury. For example, Kobe, Luke Shaw. I think he's been training for about
Malacia. We have Malacia.
Malacia as well. I don't think he's going to risk them. I don't think he's going to risk them.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe we will see this 16-year-old guy. What's his name? Cook something.
Yeah. Kokutu.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see him.
Yeah.
I don't think
Did
we're
he
gonna
play
see
for the under 18s today? Do anyone know? Because they played against Leeds, I believe.
Yeah, I think they won. I think they beat them, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might have played.
Yeah, I see Dave coming in. He say, "Evening, fellas. Maguire is quite comfortable on the left side." Yeah, I think maybe Maguire will play then. I
Big up,
haven't
guys.
heard that he's
Heading off.
injured. Okay. Yeah, well, it's interesting to see. Is Lesso? Do you think Kobe Mainu is fit to play now already after the injury?
Yeah, I think he's gonna try and limit those risks with the players that are coming back apparently, because I think that's his approach. More or less, that's why he went with the safer option of picking more or less the team that we've already been operating with. So I think that's the best approach, honestly, because you do not want to risk certain players that may actually end up being your key players, going forward. So you want to always have options. So it's best you rather rotate. Maybe I can see some of these players obviously coming on through substitutions and getting minutes and getting up to speed with the game, and then and gradually be phased in. Some of them will gradually obviously replace the current side that we're going to put out. I can see that happening. So but it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, like I told Noreddin in the beginning of the show, that it's gonna be interesting how he actually changes over time, because what we see now is not going to be the final result in terms of the team, the selection, the tactics, everything. Everything's going to evolve with time. I think He's a guy who's open to adapting. So he's gonna see how things go, and then if he feels like he needs to obviously upgrade where he needs to upgrade, or maybe feels like certain players play better in this sort of system, then you're gonna see it throughout the season. You're gonna see those changes take place. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, and we're tired of seeing the same thing.
But
Week in,
as
week
a
out.
question, you said so now that he will take it easy now with the new arrivals. I was calling the new arrivals because of long injuries. But do you think they will be a part of his team in let's say in 10, 15 games? A lot of these players coming in now, we will see more of Malacia, more of Luke Shaw, more of Mason Mount, players like them coming in as regular starters for this Amorim team. Do you see they have the qualities needed?
Now, I think he did say that he's going to give them a chance. So if the first team is slack off, the current players who are in right now, they slack off, you're going to see some of these players being integrated and being some of them being starting 11 players. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he wants to see who he can build his foundations on and then add on to those foundations. So he's gonna rotate. He's gonna try and figure out, and he's gonna. I think he's more or less going to experiment a little bit, because you need to do that.
Yeah.
How else are you gonna know which player, how you're gonna actually get the best out of each player, and that player that fits which system? You know, those sort of things. You need to find every sort of combinations and see what works better in incorporating most of these players and getting the best.
But do you
out
think
of
you
them.
need
So,
to do this in games, or can you just see it in training?
I think he wants to see them both in games and training. I think he's one of those where he wants to see how you apply something. You know, it's not about what you did in training. He wants to see if you can take what you've learned in training and actually apply it in a game-to-game basis. And I've kind of noticed that with him. You know, he looks at both. He doesn't just judge you on training alone, which is actually the wrong approach. It has failed a lot of our managers, whereas like they just pick someone off just off the training, and it's like, you know, some players are actually good. They're actually good trainers, but in terms of the game, you know, they may not perform the same way. They may not give the same quality. So you have to balance those things out. But it's all about, at the end of the day, being able to apply whatever you've learned in training, you know, and do it on the pitch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to
I see Dave coming in and say, I can possibly see Hariyama's Lenioro and Collier promoted within reason. Yeah, I agree. I see those three as possibilities. Lenioro, I think he will be a regular starter. I'm not sure about Hariyama's and Collier this season, but maybe next season I see them coming in. With players like Luke Shaw and Mason Mount and Malacia, that's his name. I forget it because he haven't played in a while. Those three, I see them getting regular game time, but not maybe as regular starters under this Amorim system. For me, I think they are good enough to play, but maybe not the best level. You know, I think we can do better with
he didn't say anything about players which are fit. He didn't talk about the injuries. They were talking too much to him. That's why I hate this. They should have, when he came, they should have unveiled him in front of the press, so that would have been over. And this game would have been what players are fit and stuff like that. But they were just asking him about joining Manchester United, if he's going to beat Pep and all of this bullshit. It was just, that's what it was, people.
Was it any sensible questions from the journalists, or were they more like?
There was the. He said he was saying he batted away the one question they asked him about, saying that how Pep signed 2 years and it's bad news for everybody. He said it's bad news for everybody, but he said there's so much to do on Manchester United. He's just focused on Manchester United. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And he also said that, you know, that people are talking about him being very smiley, and he said, I can be the smiling one, you know, like, you know, Jose was a special one. But when we have a job to do, I'll be different person. The players understand that.
Yeah. I see. I saw Pep today lost his 5th game in a row. Do you think he's losing his
Aura.
Yeah, I think.
Aura.
Listen, I
Aura,
genuinely
aura.
do think it's fatigue. I
Mm.
think that the rhythm. I think Lesso said it before. Hearing the same instructions, same team talk, same thing again and again. Players sometimes get tired, but there are conspiracy theories saying City might as well lose, so they got no points to detect from them this season.
No.
So, yeah,
Come on.
that's
No,
what
no,
people
no,
are
no,
saying. But
no.
at the end of the day, it's one of those things. For me, nobody knows truly. Nobody knows
Mm.
truly.
But,
But City,
but did you see the game?
City, we've seen City win 16 games in a row. I remember like a couple of years back. Remember after lockdown when Liverpool won the league, City in around this time were like 12th or 11th. They went on a 15 game unbeaten. They won 15 games in a row, and they went back on top. So it's always, you can't really bet against. They're having a bad time at the moment.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem also already now at this time, because I think the players don't take it seriously enough. They don't see the warning signs, because I saw the game today. Spurs looked really good, but City looked terrible defending, tracking back. They lost the ball. 5 players just stood there looking at the Spurs players, and they ran. And the City players, they weren't at their A game at all. And they were reliable players like Kyle Walker, like Gundogan, like all of them. They didn't do their job, and that's the biggest warning sign. Okay, it's okay losing a game. You have bad luck. You're getting a dodgy referee decision, a penalty against, maybe. You lose on margins, but City aren't losing on margins. They are totally playing really bad football at the moment, and they have been doing so for a long time.
I think they lost also quality. We also forget that they lost quality players. They didn't really replace the quality that they've lost. And that is somewhat eating into them, because now they've got injuries now. And their midfield is literally almost, if not, it's a different midfield altogether. So yeah, that is affecting them a lot. Pep's strength, it's always through the midfield. Like if his midfield is not functioning well, then it's pretty much game set. But it also further illustrates, guys, that Sir Alex was a very special manager. It's not, there's no one who can do what he was doing personally. You look at the kind of players we won titles with. Pep would not manage that. I don't think there's any manager who could manage to do what we did. Especially with some of the midfield pairings that we had. And he managed to actually make people believe that they're better than they actually were. That's a whole different type of skill to have. And there's a reason why it has never been done.
This comment is great. You can run if you don't have quality, and that's 100% true. Why? The Man City players can complain about Rodriguez is injured and use it as an excuse, but it doesn't excuse you from tracking back. And this is the thing we have been talking about in Man United's problem. Also, you can track back. You can do your job, do the basics. You have to do the basics right, and this is what I see now with Man City. They are struggling. I'm not quite sure that they can go on an unbeaten 15-game run again, because what I see now, I have never seen with this City team. They look terrible.
I genuinely do think he's making the wrong choices. Like David says here, Rodri, because of it, he would have played Stones in midfield, played the Dutch guy as a centre half, but he didn't. But listen to this. This is Ruben Amorim. I think we can improve in team training. This is the most important aspect. You can say players could recover by either reacting really fast, but if you do not make any exercises with that, it's really hard to do on video or recovering trainings. It's really hard this way, but we will try to find ways to deal with it. So he's basically talking about like what we always talk about Ten Hag, Ten Hag needs to basically could have drilled team to play his way, but instead he cowered it out and he started chasing 4 trophies when he got beaten the first 2 games of the season. He panicked and abandoned all his plans. But this guy, to me, that's why I say get out the Europa League. Get out the Europa
Really?
League. Get out the Europa League.
You're done with the Europa League.
I'm done with the Europa League. Come on, Jarvis. You know I hate that competition. And we need to then have more time in the training ground for him to put his ideas onto the players. I would do that, me personally.
I will miss that. Na 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 na
No, 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 no.
No chance. I won't miss that.
Yeah,
I
but
will
we
not
have
miss
Body Glimt, the mighty Body Glimt from Northern Norway, coming to Old Trafford on Thursday. That will be an interesting game. And actually, Body Glimt, they are really struggling this season. They are fighting for first place in the Norwegian Premier League. Today they took back the first place, and they 1 game left of the season, so they are really hanging in the ropes now, and they have a lot of injuries and struggle with fatigue because it's been a long season, and they play Europa League and they have a really thin squad. Let's say they have 13-14 good players, but they play so many games for being a Norwegian team with not that squad depth. So it will be interesting seeing them coming to Old Trafford now under all of this, and but they have a plan. They have a plan, so they will be interesting to see actually. But maybe they won't start the strongest team because they have on Sunday a really important game, and if they win the league. It's the last game of the league, so yeah. Because in Norway we play because of the winter time. We play 30 games and we start in March.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. It might actually work in our favor with regards to that. But yeah, I think we will make the next round. We will start picking up wins. I think the manager may prioritize this, as much as people may not like it. He may prioritize the Europa League as one of the, if he feels that maybe we may not finish in the top 4, he might prioritize the Europa League as a way to actually make it into Europe.
But is it important for us to make it into Europe next season? Is it something we need to do?
I don't think it's, personally from a fan's perspective, I don't think it's we wouldn't care, to be honest. I think for us it's more or less we just want to see an identity. We want to see progression. We want to see this team being coached. But now the problem is the finances. This club is all about finances at the end of the day.
Listen, fuck the finances, bro. Fuck the finances. Why are we trying to take shortcuts? We have to suffer. We have to take the financial hit for the long-term success of this football club. This coach,
but he
needs to coach these players, Jai, but he needs to drill them repetitively in the style. Why are we going to play in the Europa League? Why? We could be playing 13 more games.
Yeah, well, it's all about qualifying for next year's Champions League.
Listen, So then, concentrate on week on, week out, perfecting, getting the team prepared for the league games, and try to do it through the league.
But do you think it's easier to do it in the league than Europa League?
I'd rather coach try that.
Do it the other way around.
I'd rather the coach do that, coaching a team, and then if you miss out, you just miss out, right? But I'd rather give the coach the time to drill these players.
I understand why you say this, and we have seen it under different managers in the Premier League. Conte's Chelsea, they didn't have anything other than the league to play for, and did well. They won the league. We have seen it with other teams too. I can't say anyone on top of my mind right now, but there's other examples. So yeah, I think it will be, from a footballing point of view, it would be better for the players. You won't get the amount of games. You won't be fatigued into next season, and you will have more time on the playing ground, so training ground. And that's brilliant. That's good points, Noradin. But from other opinions is we are Man United. We should be in the biggest Europa Leagues in Europe, Champions League. hopefully, but Europa League is the minimum for us.
But
And
for
and you know,
Jarvis,
we have sponsorships. You have fans who want to go to games.
for Jarvis, this is what I'm saying to you. I'd rather take the financial hit for the long-term success of this fucking football club. The coach needs to coach Jarvis. And he's coming, he's got no preseason. It's a difficult time for him. So he needs to drill these players on the training ground. That's what he needs to do. So then we can try, because for me, the league's bread and butter. Fuck Europe. The league, how you judge a manager is where we finish in the fucking league, not where we're in shitty Europa League. We won the Europa League already. We went to another final. We got knocked out last year. You can be knocked out. In 5 minutes, you can be knocked out. If you lose 1 or 2 league games, you've got 5 league games to win to recover.
But we have a squad, as I see Nasrin Zakaria coming in the chat saying we have a squad, and we have a big squad. You know, we have, I don't know, 20, 25 players competing. Do you think we will because you will have other problems then with players not getting game time?
Well,
if you only
for
play
me,
the league.
Okay, if you can play the youngsters and focus on the league, then yeah, I don't mind if you can go through the rounds. Play the youngsters then. Play Johnny Evans and Maguire and these guys and see where we can get. I don't mind that.
Yeah, neither do I.
You have to save your strongest team and coach your strongest team to play in the league games.
You see Chelsea this season, they are playing one squad in the Conference League and one squad in the league. I think that's a sensible approach, and I think we should try to do something similar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's important to always keep your players.
Yeah,
listen, big up, man, big up. We'll be back tomorrow, people. Big up to everybody. Big up for Jarvis joining in, and big up Sean for joining as well. Make sure you check out Jarvis, Cocker, Bowley 77 tactical channels coming very soon. Big up to Lesso Football TV at Black Rain and Jarvis Corner Monday night. Stu, Andy, it was a brilliant show last time. I was glad to be there. So go and check that out if you've not watched that already. Jarvis Corner 9 o'clock. Big up to Sean as well at Sean Thomas and the Geopolitical Podcast. You can check it out all the podcast providers. It's called How We See Things. Tomorrow is a big game. If you Jarvis, you can check out. I talked about the tactics. I talked about the way that they play. I've done the research. You know, I watched the Spurs game. They set traps. They're very good at Ipswich setting traps. They're very good at the counter press. They go from, you know, in 5-10 seconds, boom, somebody's coming close to your goal. They flood, they overload. They know exactly what they're doing with or without the ball. I think some of the quality, they're not good. They give you chances. I think you can score against them. But yeah, we need to score first. We need to score first. Yeah, fuck Zionism, mate. Fuck the death cult. Free Palestine, free Lebanon, free the Congo, free Sudan, free Tigray, free Agadan, free anywhere where people are oppressed, whether it's domestically, national, you know what I mean, internationally, or continentally. It's not even a word, but I made it up. Fuck, yeah. Yeah, fuck the Nazis as well. Fucking Germans. Fuck the GCSEs while we're there as well. No, remember people, no exam results define you as a human being. No. Big up. This final question before you go, Jarvis. Do you think Xerxes can fit in 3-4-2-1?
Yeah, it's a really good question. To be honest, I think he can. I saw some because I was asking myself this question, and I did some research. I looked back on Xerxes on when he played in Serie A last season in Bologna, and I think he looked much lighter. You know, his body was lighter. He was moving much faster. I don't know. It's a slower league, but I think he gained a lot of muscles, and he looks really heavy now. I think someone has to tell him you have to change your training regime and get your quickness into your body again. Because when he played for Bologna, I think he was much quicker. So yeah, he can do it, and his technical skills and his creativity and his ability to create chances up front is there. So yes, he can play in this system, but he needs to change a couple of things, and I think he just needs to drop some weight.
Okay, Jarvis, quick score predictions quickly.
I think we will see a lot of goals. 4-1.
Wow.
Getting giddy.
Yeah. Fuck the Glazers and fuck Ineos while we're there as well.
Yes.
Big up. Love and light, people. Take care. Good night. Join us tomorrow for the match reaction.
Yes.
Big up.